There's a bunch of single-player games coming up, and based on the trailers, they're looking really good, especially in the visuals department. Today, we're going over 15 games with graphics that seriously caught our eye. Not a ranked list, just a look at what's coming. Let's get into it. So first on our list is Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 is officially dropping on June 26th, 2025, and yeah, it's looking just as wild as you'd expect from Kojima. You're back in the boots of an older Sam Porter Bridges, with Norman Reedus returning alongside familiar faces like Fragile, plus newcomers like Elle Fanning, Shioli Kutsuna, and George Miller of all people. This time around, Sam's joined a new group called Drawbridge, and the stakes are bigger with strange new tech, alternate realities, and some really dark twists on human connection. Yes, it's just as weird and ambitious as it sounds. The game runs on Guerrilla's Decima engine, so visually, it's stunning. Rain-soaked roads, surreal landscapes, and some very detailed character models. Traversal gets a boost too, with new vehicles, gear, and tools to help you across some seriously harsh terrain. Kojima actually rewrote the entire story after the pandemic, and yep, the themes are hitting way closer to home this time. There's a custom photo mode now, a bunch of cinematic cutscenes, and even a giant submarine you'll be using at some point. The latest trailer gave us a deeper look at the world, the cast, and the kind of strange, emotional journey Kojima's setting us up for. Pre-orders are live, there's a big collector's edition with all the extras, and yes, it's still a PS5 exclusive for now. One thing's clear, this could easily be one of the boldest and most unique games of 2025. Moving up next, we have the Blood of Dawnwalker. From the makers of The Witcher 3 comes the Blood of Dawnwalker, a dark fantasy RPG set in a plague-ridden version of 14th century Europe. You play as Cohen, a half-human, half-vampire known as a Dawnwalker. You have just 30 days and 30 nights to save your dying sister, and every quest you take moves the clock forward. Developed by Rebel Wolves and built with Unreal Engine 5, this single-player open-world game is looking like a serious contender. There's swordplay, stealth, supernatural powers, and story choices that lead to multiple endings. You'll face ancient vampires, avoid blood taxes, and decide whether to lean into your human side or embrace your darker nature. With Konrad Tomaszkiewicz leading the project, there's clear Witcher DNA in the storytelling and world design. The trailer shows off the brutal setting and introduces Brensis, a powerful vampire lord who sets the tone for the conflict ahead. It all feels intense, dramatic, and full of potential. The Blood of Dawnwalker is coming to PC and consoles. There's no release date yet, but this one is already on the radar for RPG fans. Up next, we have Pragmata. A handful of PlayStation games announced years ago still haven't seen the light of day, and Pragmata is one of the most talked about. Over on Reddit, a recent post about the lack of updates on Pragmata gained serious traction, with thousands of upvotes and players expressing the same frustration. The long silence around this game is starting to wear thin. Capcom first revealed Pragmata back in 2020 with a cryptic, surreal trailer showing a ruined Earth, a spacefaring character, and a mysterious girl. It gave off heavy Death Stranding vibes, and the original plan was to release it in 2022. But after 2 delays and no meaningful updates since mid-2023, fans are understandably growing concerned. The last official word was an indefinite delay and nothing more. It's a strange situation for a title that once seemed like a bold new direction for Capcom. The tone, the visuals, the setting, it all looked promising. But as of early 2025, Pragmata still has no release date, no new footage, and no clear signs of progress. It's still officially listed for PC and consoles, but right now, its status is anyone's guess. Hopefully, Capcom breaks the silence soon. Because the longer the wait goes on, the more it feels like Pragmata is slowly fading into the background. Coming up next, we have GTA 6. After over a decade of chaos in Los Santos, Grand Theft Auto 6 is finally coming. It's been 12 years since GTA 5 and GTA Online first dropped, and now Rockstar is looking to raise the bar once again. The next entry is officially set to launch in fall 2025, and while Rockstar's been quiet since dropping that first trailer, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. PC isn't on the table yet, at least not officially, but based on past releases, we can probably expect it down the line. This time around, we're heading back to Vice City and the surrounding state of Leonida. It's Rockstar's updated take on Miami, packed with neon lights, sunny beaches, and sketchy streets. It's been almost 20 years since we last set foot here, and this version looks more alive and chaotic than ever. As for characters, we're getting 2 leads this time. The trailer introduces Lucia, who's seen in prison early on. She's paired up with a man, believed to be named Jason, and together, they seem to be pulling off robberies and trying to stay ahead of the law. The dynamic between them feels intense and personal. When it comes to the plot, Rockstar hasn't shared much, but the trailer drops some clues. Lucia and her partner are seen robbing a store, escaping cops, and running low on luck. It hints at a fast-paced journey filled with crime and consequences. And finally, Rockstar says GTA 6 will push what's possible for open-world gameplay and character interaction. The trailer shows people dancing on boats, filming fights, and sharing moments that look like viral clips. Social media and digital life might be a big part of how the world reacts around you. All in all, GTA 6 is looking like a massive leap forward. We'll be keeping an eye on it as more updates roll out. Next on the list, we have Mafia The Old Country. Mafia is finally back, and it's taking us further into the past than ever before. Mafia The Old Country is a prequel to the original trilogy, unfolding in the early 1900s and digging deep into the roots of organized crime. Set in the fictional Sicilian town of San Celeste, a place we last saw referenced in Mafia 2, the game aims to bring the era to life with attention to detail, including fully localized voice acting in Sicilian. Developer Hangar 13 is steering this entry in a new direction, moving away from Mafia 3's open-world approach in favor of a more story-focused experience that leans into suspense, character development, and a sense of rising tension. The game is currently scheduled to launch in summer 2025 on PC and consoles. So far, we've gotten 2 cinematic trailers, one from Gamescom and another from the Game Awards. And while there's no raw gameplay yet, we do get a strong feel for the atmosphere. There's a look at the protagonist's initiation into the crime family, a high-speed car chase, and scenes of close-quarters combat using both knives and guns. The vibe is intense, personal, and steeped in old-world danger. Going toe-to-toe with GTA 6 in the same year is a bold move, but 2K clearly believes in this one. If the final product can deliver on what the trailers are teasing, Mafia The Old Country might end up being one of 2025's most memorable single-player games. Moving forward, we have Ghost of Yotei. Sucker Punch is finally returning to the world of Ghost of Tsushima, but this time, the story jumps 300 years forward with Ghost of Yotei. Set to release sometime in 2025, this PlayStation 5 exclusive introduces us to Atsu, a warrior forged in the fire of personal loss. After her homestead is destroyed and her family killed, Atsu sets out on a journey of vengeance, and how she carves her path will be left up to the player. From the sound of it, this won't just be about swordplay and stealth. We're looking at bounty hunting, odd jobs, and a deeper economy system, something the original game didn't really explore. According to the official website, players will shape Atsu's legend by choosing how she fights, earns, and survives. That added layer of freedom lines up with what Sucker Punch has been teasing: a more dynamic, less repetitive world, and new ways to engage with it. We're also getting new weapon types like the Odachi, Kusarigama, and dual katanas, along with stunning vistas, massive draw distances, and next-gen polish tailored for the PS5 Pro. While Sony hasn't nailed down a firm date, the release window is marked for 2025. With GTA 6 looming in the fall, some are speculating that Ghost of Yotei might land earlier in the summer. Either way, it feels like something big is brewing. We're just waiting for Sucker Punch to make their next move. Next up, we have Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade doesn't try to be a groundbreaking story. It's all about sharp combat, incredible visuals, and a fast-paced action loop that rarely lets up. The story takes a backseat, and while the characters don't leave much of a mark, the game more than makes up for it when the action kicks in. It's already available on PS5, and for those waiting on PC, it's set to launch in June 2025. You play as Eve, a soldier sent to take back Earth from the monstrous Nightreign. The plot hits some expected sci-fi beats. Mysteries about humanity's downfall, lost civilizations, and sci-fi twists, but it never digs deep enough to make you care. Most of the character development feels shallow, and dialogue is forgettable at best. Where Stellar Blade steps up is in its combat. Inspired by Sekiro, it leans into precision parries, perfect dodges, and split-second reads. Layer in beta and burst skills, and you've got a system that stays rewarding through the entire 30-hour campaign. Enemy variety is solid, boss fights hit hard, and new abilities keep things from going stale. Outside of combat, you've got side quests, outfit unlocks, exploration zones, and some light RPG elements. Not all of it is engaging, especially the repetitive backtracking, but there's enough variety to break things up between major fights. Stellar Blade isn't perfect, but it delivers where it counts. If you're in it for stylish combat and flashy boss fights, it's worth checking out. Next on the list, we have FBC Firebreak. Remedy is switching things up in a big way with FBC Firebreak, a multiplayer FPS set in the Control universe. It's a first-person, 3-player co-op shooter that puts you back inside the oldest house, 6 years after the events of the original game. This time, you're not Jesse Faden. Instead, you're one of the many expendables sent in when things go sideways. You'll pick your mission, loadout, and difficulty, then dive into ever-shifting zones filled with threats like the Hiss and some truly bizarre enemies. One of the early missions even has you fighting a monster made entirely of sticky notes. Combat leans into weird tech and improvised gear. We're talking lightning guns, makeshift turrets, and fire-extinguishing snowball launchers. You'll also unlock perks, like ammo, returning to your clip, or buffing your teammates by stacking perks, adding more flexibility each time you play. And here's the best part. There's no grind. Play for 20 minutes or a couple of hours. It's built for quick sessions, not endless daily check-ins. It's also launching straight into Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra. With its unique tools, surreal vibes, and pick-up-and-play structure, FBC Firebreak is one co-op shooter that's hard to ignore. Moving forward, we have Crimson Desert. After years of silence and a couple of delays, Crimson Desert is finally starting to look like one of 2025's biggest RPGs. Developed by Pearl Abyss, the team behind Black Desert Online, this is a single-player action-adventure set in the war-torn continent of Pywell. You play as Cliff McDuff, a mercenary pulled into a volatile power struggle after a king falls into a coma. With the realm fractured, Cliff has to unite a band of mercenaries, take on ruthless enemies, and face his own past, all while surviving a world filled with mythical beasts, sprawling cities, and wild natural terrain. Unlike the studio's previous MMO, Crimson Desert is leaning fully into story-focused gameplay, with choices that shape your path and an open world packed with dynamic encounters, massive boss fights, and systems like alchemy, horseback combat, resource management, and more. You'll even be able to cook, fish, and solve puzzles between all the sword fights and dragon rides. The trailers have shown off challenging battles and some impressive visuals. Think The Witcher 3 meets Dragon's Dogma 2 with a splash of high fantasy chaos. It's set to launch on PC and consoles in late 2025. Next up, we have Doom: The Dark Ages. Doom: The Dark Ages takes a hard left turn in the best way possible. Instead of the non-stop run-and-gun chaos of the last two games, this one leans into close quarters, brawling, parries, and heavy hits. You're still the Doomslayer, but this time you're smashing demons in a Dark Age-inspired world ruled by a twisted space cult. And instead of just zipping around with a shotgun, you're holding your ground, blocking, countering, and turning enemies into pulp with fists, and a shield that doubles as a saw blade. It's still fast and brutal, but with a new rhythm that forces you to get up close and personal. There's a satisfying weight to the combat, and the weapons, both melee and ranged, feel just as impactful as ever. The campaign still brings the spectacle, with mech battles, dragon flights, and huge set pieces breaking up the action. One moment you're piloting a skyscraper-sized mech, the next you're soaring through the skies on a dragon taking out hell ships. It's all as over-the-top as it sounds. Some elements, like toned-down glory kills and the shifting mechanics between modes, feel a bit off, but the core loop of smashing, shooting, and surviving still hits hard. If this demo is anything to go by, Doom the Dark Ages isn't just a bold experiment. It looks like another brutal, satisfying chapter when it drops May 13th on PC and consoles. Moving up next, we have Dying Light the Beast. Dying Light the Beast is bringing Kyle Crane back for the first time in nearly a decade, and things are looking grimmer and wilder than ever. Originally planned as a DLC for Dying Light 2, this follow-up evolved into a full standalone experience, and from what we've seen, it's going all in. Set 13 years after the first game, Crane returns after years of experimentation by a sinister militia, now infected with enhanced zombie DNA that's given him brutal new powers. The reveal trailer introduced a twisted new villain known as the Baron, and teased a darker, more focused story, loaded with parkour, first-person melee combat, and even vehicle gameplay. And it's set to hit sometime in summer 2025 on PC and consoles. The game promises over 18 hours of content, and it looks like Techland is doubling down on what made the original so memorable. Fast-paced traversal, brutal combat, and a world filled with danger around every corner. Crane's new powers give him an edge, but it's clear this is still survival horror at its core. Longtime fans will notice a much tighter focus on story, with a clear vengeance arc as Crane hunts those who turned him into the weapon he is now. And if you picked up the Ultimate Edition of Dying Light 2, you're getting this game completely free. Between the new setting, upgraded abilities, and fresh enemy designs, this is looking like a beast of a sequel. Up next, we have Elden Ring Nightreign. Elden Ring Nightreign isn't exactly what you'd expect, but that's kind of the point. It drops the traditional open-world RPG formula in favor of a co-op roguelike structure, where you and 2 others get thrown into a map, stripped of gear, and forced to build your power from scratch. You choose from one of 8 classes, each with their own unique playstyle, like the fast-moving Duchess or the magic-focused Recluse, and then spend your time fighting through enemy camps, solving puzzles, and grabbing loot as a deadly fog slowly tightens around the map. Speed is key. There's no armor, but weapons and trinkets you carry provide passive bonuses, letting you create wild builds with status effects, elemental combos, or healing perks. It's all about finding synergy before the next big fight. Each run plays out over a 3-day cycle, with daytime exploration and nighttime boss battles that act as serious skill checks. If your team wipes at night, the run ends. Survive, and you're rewarded with relics that persist across runs, giving you stronger starts each time. Nightreign takes clear inspiration from roguelikes and battle royale elements, but somehow fits right into the Soulsborne world. Faster, more chaotic, but still brutally satisfying. The final boss fights are tough, the builds feel fresh every run, and the victories are loud. Whether you're a longtime Tarnished or just looking for a new co-op challenge, this could easily be one of 2025's most exciting spin-offs. Elden Ring Nightreign hits consoles and PC on May 30th. Coming up next, we have Phantom Blade Zero. Phantom Blade Zero just teased that its long-awaited release date will finally be revealed sometime in 2025. First announced during Sony's 2023 State of Play, this stylish action title from Chinese studio S-Game has been gaining attention for its slick combat and unique setting. Players step into the role of Soul, a swordsman framed for the murder of his masters, now carving his way through a dark kung fu punk world filled with steampunk gear and wuxia-inspired martial arts. Recent gameplay reveals show-off a fast-paced, punishing combat system built around fluid swordplay and flexible, serpent-themed weapons like the Soft Snake Sword and Crimson Viper, each adding a distinct flair to every encounter. Built using Unreal Engine 5 and headed to PlayStation 5 and PC, Phantom Blade Zero mixes the high-speed intensity of Ninja Gaiden with level design more in line with Souls games. While it was initially compared to Sekiro, it's now looking more like a pure hack-and-slash, with over 20 secondary weapons layered on top of your main loadout. One moment you're slicing through foes with dual sabers, the next you're unleashing a shoulder-mounted cannon or crushing enemies with a giant hammer. It's fast, stylish, and full of potential. With a fall 2026 release once on the table, the updated timeline could hint at a shift, so now, we just wait for the official release date sometime in 2025. Next on the list, we have The Witcher 4. CD Projekt Red is officially moving forward with a new Witcher game, and this time, Ciri is stepping into the spotlight. The Witcher 4 puts players in control of Ciri as she begins her journey as a full-fledged Witcher. The game will be a single-player open-world RPG and promises a darker, more brutal take on the continent. CD Projekt Red says it's building the most ambitious Witcher game yet, using Unreal Engine 5, moving away from its in-house Red engine. The result should be a massive world full of complex choices, branching stories, and combat that blends Ciri's agility, swordplay, and magic. There's no release date yet, and CD Projekt Red hasn't committed to a platform lineup either. Based on recent development updates, the project isn't expected to be ready before 2027, so it's likely a long wait ahead. But we do know the studio wants to explore Ciri's identity beyond her powers, framing her as a character torn between destiny and choice, trying to stay human in a world that keeps getting darker. With new monsters, new regions, and decisions that ripple through the story, The Witcher 4 is lining up to be one of the most exciting RPGs on the horizon. And finally, we have Where Winds Meet. Here's a game you might have missed if you're outside of China, but Where Winds Meet is already proving to be a breakout success. Developed by Everstone Studios and published by NetEase, this open-world martial arts RPG launched in China for PC and mobile back in late 2024, and it's already racked up over 15 million players. That's right. Within just a few weeks, it soared to the top of the iOS charts and pulled in millions more on PC, quickly making a name for itself in a genre that's been heating up fast. If the name sounds familiar, you've probably heard it mentioned alongside Black Myth Wukong, another high-profile title from a China-based studio that's been making waves. Like Wukong, Where Winds Meet blends Chinese mythology and history with action RPG systems, parkour, and martial arts combat, all set in a striking open world. And based on how fast it caught on domestically, it looks like this one's ready to make a serious mark globally. A worldwide release is officially on the books for 2025, but there's a small catch. So far, only the iOS and iPadOS versions have been confirmed for international launch, while news on the PC and console ports is still under wraps. That hasn't stopped fans from getting hyped, though, especially as interest continues to build following the game's massive early player count. Where Winds Meet might not have a global date locked in just yet, but considering how quickly it's climbed the charts in China, it's looking like another big win for the growing wave of Chinese-developed AAA games. And if the console release follows suit, it could be the next martial arts RPG everyone's talking about. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified when I upload new content. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And check out these other videos you might like. See you in the next one.